Everybody, it's Glenda here from Sydney Click Glenda. I want to talk about past relationships, and I suppose the one that got away, the one that you could have seen having a really good life with. Mine was a school teacher. He was just finishing teaching college. He'd gotten his first assignments, and unfortunately they were in country towns. We had a good relationship. We rarely argued. He was respectful. He took me out to dinner. He did all the right things. We had a good relationship. The unfortunate thing was, and I was in my early 20s, he was a couple of years younger than me. I had just come out of a shitty marriage, a really shitty, abusive marriage. And to me, it only lasted 2 years. I should never have married this guy, blah, blah, blah. And I met the school teacher. I met him through a group of friends. When I met him originally, he already had a girlfriend. But eventually, I think they broke up, and he happened to be at the nightclub we all frequented, and we started chatting, found out he'd broken up with his girlfriend. And he walked me to my car. He got my phone number, and he wanted to take me out. Okay, fair enough. And that was started from there. And I knew within a period of time that I was in love with this man. He encouraged me to do my own thing, to work, my bodybuilding that I was doing at the time. And I supported and encouraged him as well. He was very good at woodworking. He's become a school teacher. Now I'm going to bring in his mother. I actually started cleaning their house for them, and she paid me to do it. Because at the time I was out of work. I'd lost my job and I was out of work, and she was helping us out. And I also did their ironing as well. And I did it for probably about 1.5 years. I didn't mind doing it. But I think I realised after, and it's driven home right now, that that's all she considered me as, her housekeeper. And I just happened to be dating her son. He had planned a holiday with a friend of his, and I was quite happy to support him on that. But I just somehow felt that and they would be gone for at least 6 months. Because I'd come out of a pretty shitty marriage, I was happy to allow and we were only in our 20s. I was happy to allow or to continue with the relationship, not allow, but continue with the relationship as it was. Boyfriend and girlfriend, he lived at home. I lived in my own place. His dad liked me very much. His sister liked me. He went away on his holiday. And I know that before he went, I did try to encourage him, take me with you, etc., etc. And I had a feeling something wasn't quite right. I think it was 6 weeks went by and I heard nothing from him. And I think I got a postcard somewhere along the way, and then he called me. But in the meantime, every week I would go around and I would clean the house. And his mother, being the kind of person that she was, she seemed nice to me. She had received 3 letters from him. And she deliberately left them out on the dressing table in their room that I dusted and vacuumed. Because I recognised his handwriting. And I know they were addressed to her, but I read them anyway. Because every week I was not hearing from him at all. I think it was about 4 weeks before he sent me a postcard. When I did speak to him, all I got was, "Oh, I'm not near a phone," or "not always near a thing." And then I said, "Well, how is it that you managed to send your mother 3 letters, but you couldn't even send me a postcard?" And I said to him on that phone call, "How about we just break up now? And when you come back, we'll get together and we'll talk." And I continued cleaning for his mother. He came back and I was invited over for Christmas. I didn't even realise he was home. And there he was. We eventually talked that night and we got back together again. He decided to come over to my place. Those few months that he was away, that I didn't see him and didn't hear from him, they were really tough. They were really tough. Because I was missing him and I didn't want to have to break up with him. He came over to my place that night and then he left again. And I was trying to encourage him to move in with me. I didn't care if he couldn't afford to support himself. I think I was desperate. And he went home and I got a phone call. I called him actually. He was supposed to be back at my place. And we talked. And he pretty much ended it right there and then. And I was just devastated. Absolutely devastated. I fell apart, and I will admit at some point I wanted to unalive myself. But my survival instinct kicked in and I just thought, no, I deserve better than this. Anyway, we managed to talk. I called him and we managed to talk on the phone and we got back together again. Because I really loved this man. I really loved him. And we continued to date, but then, of course, he got his first teacher's posting and it was country. And I understand with teaching that they will send the new teachers out to country towns. And he said he would come back every fortnight and he would spend time with me and he would spend time with his family. But I think a part of me realised that his relationship with his mother was far more important and his career as a teacher was far more important, because apparently his mother wanted him to be a politician. And I just couldn't deal with it anymore. The lack of commitment to me, to our relationship. I was just an afterthought. And even today I think about him and I think about the good times we did have together. They were good. They were good. We saw each other regularly. We went out on dates. He had his Friday night with the boys and I went out with my friends. He was very affectionate. He was affectionate. Our sex life was good. He saw nothing in giving me flowers or buying me a nice birthday present. And I helped him out with a few things because after he finished teachers college, he did some woodworking. And I helped him with that and I learned a few things. I helped him out with assignments. I typed them up for him. I supported him 110% and I never brought up marriage or anything like that because I was happy with what we had and I was prepared to wait. I was in my, I think 24, 25. I was happy to wait. It was in no big rush. Anyway, it came down to it that I couldn't live like that anymore. I could not live like that when I realized I was like an afterthought. When he was with me, when he told me he loved me, when he made promises to me, I'm sure at the time he really meant them. But when he got away from me, like I said, I was an afterthought. I broke up with him. I couldn't deal with it anymore. And I still came around and I cleaned the house because I needed the money. And I can remember talking to his sister one day and she said, after you two broke up the last time, I could remember coming home and he'd be sitting in the dark just on his bed and he really missed you and he really loves you. But she said, I know what the problem was. It was our mother. She was always in his ear about being a politician, and she told me that his previous girlfriend was, she was Asian. She was born in Hong Kong. She looked Asian. She had an English father, but a Singaporean mother, or was it a Hong Kong? His mother, she was Asian. Her mother was Asian, so she was half. And what she said to him, and his sister overheard her, she's a very lovely girl, etc., etc. And going into the police force is very admirable, but I don't particularly want to have chink babies as grandchildren. And I realized then that I was just her housekeeper. And she had the cheek, when I'd met my next boyfriend who I later married. When I mentioned that we were engaged and we were getting married, I came over to drop off a key because I'd stopped doing the housekeeping. And my boyfriend at the time was with me. Oh, well, when you get married, why don't you invite us to the wedding? And I thought, yeah, I'm going to invite my ex-boyfriend's parents to my wedding. Are you kidding me? And I went, oh, yeah. We're not sure when we're going to get married yet. His sister told me everything, that she was constantly in his ear, and she wasn't berating him, it was just making these little offhand comments. Well, she's been married before, and if you're going to be a politician, you need to have a wife with an impeccable past. And she's not very ambitious, is she? And it was her that pushed him to go off on the holiday because he was happy to cancel it. But she pushed him and gave him the money for him to go and do that. she was always pecking at him, pecking at him, pecking at him. And his sister told me that he didn't realize how much he cared about me, how much he loved me, was her words, until after he lost me completely. He admitted that he had treated me badly, and he ended up getting involved with a woman that was nearly double his age, and she had been a carer for her mother, and he was into the habit of taking care of the situation because it was easy to be in a relationship like that. I've since discovered he went on and got married, and he's got a grown-up daughter. As far as I know, he's still with the same woman. And I looked at the image of him that she had on her profile. Still the same. Still the same vacant stare, like he was missing something. And as much as I feel like he was the one that got away, and that I could have happily married him and probably would still be married to him today, another part of me realizes that he wasn't committed, and he didn't realize what we had until after he completely lost it. And it really hurts because I could have completely devoted my life to him. I could have done everything and been everything he needed. And if it was physically possible, I would have had his child, for sure. I would have done everything possible. I would have supported him. I would have done everything he needed me to do to be successful in life. The one thing I can be grateful for is he followed his passion. He never became a politician. He was into woodwork. And what he made was just, it was phenomenal. Really beautiful woodwork. Because that was what he was a teacher of, industrial arts, which was metalwork, woodwork, etc., etc. And I still think today that if he had realized that he lost a good one, we could have had a good life together. He was the one relationship where I didn't stack on a shitload of weight. I kept healthy. I kept a good figure. I looked after myself. I always maintained a healthy and well appearance lifestyle. And I would have educated myself. I would have looked. I probably would still be working now. We would probably be close to retirement, and we would have a comfortable life. But it wasn't meant to be. The worst part about it was I married my second husband on the rebound from him. I didn't even realize I'd done it until years later. And that was not a healthy relationship. But that's another story for another time. And now I'm in marriage number 3, and all I can say is we have had some incredibly tough times. And it's not through a lot of my doing. I, yeah, I think the life after the school teacher that I chose for myself was not a good one. There was a lot of pain from that relationship, and it brought up everything from my past. And it was all because, and his sister said to me, he always listens to our mother. He's always trying to please her, always trying to do the right thing by our mother. Oh, incidentally, that girlfriend of his before me, she became a police officer, and she went and traveled to America and learned all about forensic science. And I even saw her on the news one day. She became a specialist forensic police officer. She did really well. And he dumped her because Mummy said she didn't want chink grandbabies. And he dumped me because I'd been married before. All because Mummy told him to. So on the one hand, we had a fantastic relationship, probably the best relationship I've had with every single man that I've been involved with, even including the marriages. But on the other hand, he had a mother that was constantly wearing him down to the point where what he wanted and what mattered to him was not important. And on that note, I'm going to end this. Bye.